Stay tuned for Retire Your Way with Dale Soutas, a leading financial retirement strategist and the founder of Soutas Financial and Insurance Solutions, right here in Fresno. Every week, Dale discusses pressing financial topics of the week, ranging from reliable income strategies to our financial markets, including Social Security, tax strategies, wealth management, RMDs, legacy planning, long-term care solutions, and most importantly, how to make sure you have enough guaranteed lifetime income to retire your way with choice and dignity. From taxes to trends to total transparency, Dale covers it all. And now, here is Retire Your Way and Dale Soutas. This is Retire Your Way with financial advisor Dale Soutas of Soutas Financial right here in California. Some outdated financial myths. We want to ask Dale some of these things. You've probably heard them before. Maybe you've said them once or twice, or somebody's been trying to coach you, but where are you getting your financial advice? You know, same old advice, but it's a very, very different retirement landscape than a few decades ago. So it's time to dispel some of these retirement planning, myths, strategies, those ghosts that are floating out there in the ethosphere. Dale Soutas, how are you doing today?
I am doing fine. How are you, Spike?
All right. It's been a busy week as usual. And, we talk about retirement planning and it's retire your way, but I'm going to kick right off with this one retirement planning myth. How about when somebody says to you, or they find out what business you're in and they say, well, you know what? I'm never going to retire. Either I love what I do or I have to keep working. I'm never going to retire because I got to do something with my life. So I'm not going to do that. Does that always work out, Dale?
Yeah, or they say that same thing because, well, I don't have a whole lot of other things I want to do. You know, work is my life. I love working. I hear that regularly. But in reality, that may not work out in the long run because, I had somebody recently I talked to, and she's been working at the company for a long time, a couple decades or more. And she's never called out. She's always there early, great work ethic. And then all of a sudden they laid her off. And so she's been out of work for a while. And so I teased, I said, well, we're expanding, maybe I'm not teasing, but maybe down the road we'll bring you on if you haven't found another job. But she really, with her plan, which really cool is, we've already developed their retirement income plan. And he does plan to work for a bit longer. She's not even 60 yet, but we're looking at she doesn't have to go back to work if she doesn't want to. Her plan shows that their money will last, and they can keep on going, and they'll be okay. Mm-hmm. But things happen for people. It could be that they get laid off. Maybe a health reason, something changes to where now they're not working. Many times we've seen, unfortunately, ones who have a parent or other loved one who needs care, and so they cut back or on their work, or they stop altogether to take care of that family member. So things can happen, unfortunately. So how do we plan for it? How do we make sure we can keep going through all the changes?
Even folks who are employed, have an employer or so forth, sometimes the coverage on disability or short-term disability and long-term are not there, or you haven't made those elections. I know that a lot of our workforce today is clickety-clacky, right? We're on our computers, we're typing, we're doing things in the information space and service space. But I mean, for folks who do anything that is physical, I don't care if you're electrical repair, things where you are serving others, and obviously in the medical field, to people who are real estate and the hair care industry. When you're on your feet and you're doing things, you might think that you can and will work as long as you possibly can. But, what happens when the body breaks down or something?
Exactly. Well, yeah. Or what if the company shuts down for some reason, or they sell it to another, because that's typically why businesses are in place. They eventually want to sell, they built it up to be this nice money-making, opportunity. So they might sell it to to retire themselves, and now the new employers, new corporate thinking may not feel they need you. But on the physical side, I know he's only 41, and so they're both working, he and his wife, and but he's been doing mechanic work, heavy equipment
Yeah.
mechanic,
Yeah.
and
Tough work.
this past year he's had issues with where he's had to have surgery on one of his arms because of crunching or cranking
Yeah.
nuts and bolts or whatever you're doing. So now he's out on leave, workers' comp and all that. Will he be able to go back to work? What else could he do? So yeah, in reality, things happen that can change what we're doing.
Yeah.
And
So it's a great
not fun.
sentiment saying, hey, I love what I'm doing, or, I have to do what I'm doing, or whatever it might be, that I'm going to keep working no matter what. Not always the case. The job markets change. Our body might not be able to do the same kinds of things that we used to do. And, the entire country has changed over the last 100 years and the kinds of jobs that we do. So, before there is a physical ailment that stops us, or as somebody who just came and spoke with Dale, sometimes the employer, they change directions. I know we're hearing that a lot across the country right now. So don't fret. I mean, this person who was almost 60 years old, now they have a spouse who is still working, but saying, hey, you both are on the right track. You can go ahead and retire or find something else that you want to do, but it doesn't have to be, that full 9 to 5. If you would like to know what it looks like. Yeah. So, how many times you get to give that surprise, Dale? You're ready to go. You can go. He's got to keep working, but you're ready to retire.
Yeah. Or they want to, cut back. Maybe they might enjoy what they do, but they would like to do more of other things, be with the family, the grandkids, whatever, travel, other hobbies, interests. So maybe they still would like to work part-time. Some people like to go out and maybe do more consulting in the specialty they have. But so there's a lot of different circumstances, and all of that has to be taken into account when they're looking for the long haul, how to make sure their money lasts and income lasts. That's 99% of the time, that's what people ask us about when they come in. When I ask them what would they like to accomplish, what's on their minds, and they want to know, hey, will my money last? Will my income keep up with inflation? All these good things.
They're basically just asking the question, are we going to be okay?
Right. Yeah. Are we going to be okay? It's kind of like you go to the doctor and you have an annual checkup. What are you trying to find out? How sick you are? No, you're trying to find out if you're okay. So, take advantage of, visiting with us.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you won't have to use your medical insurance or pay a copay. Leave your checkbook at home. It doesn't cost anything. We enjoy helping people see not only where they're at now, but how to make sure they'll be okay, down the road. Even if we don't make a dime, that doesn't matter. We want you to know how things look for you. If there's things you should tweak, fine. I mean, what about, like I told you, there's some young couples just recently came in. There's a nice lady out of Kerman who coaches younger ones who are in the working world. And she had two different couples come in. And they're both couples were only in their 30s. And and it was really nice. It was really nice to see. They're working. They both have homes. They have children. But some basic little things they haven't done yet. Like they have a home, but what if something were to happen to both mom and dad? That home is going to go to probate. It's not going to go in trust for the kids' future. Sometime, in fact, I don't think either of them had. No, one of them had life insurance. That's right. But sometimes we look at how to set up life insurance on, say, the main breadwinner, the husband in this case, and make sure the family will be taken care of down the road. Little things like that. But how to structure the life insurance so that if they don't need it because they die, how can they use that as a tool to have tax-free savings or even tax-free income down the road? So there's some neat strategies there. But a lot of times it's just, hey, pat you on the back, keep doing this, go see an attorney, get your trust set up, things that maybe don't make us a dime. But it's nice when people know how we treat them. They tend to tell other people, which keeps us busy and keeps me finding more help to keep up with all the good people we see. So.
I mean, it's so great to hear somebody, especially a couple of couples in their 30s, coming in for advice in the right direction. And again, you charged that you maxed out both their credit cards, right? How much do you charge them just to come in, have a conversation, point them in the right direction, give them some ideas? What was that? Did they have to remortgage one of their cards?
Let me do the calculator. Let's 0 times 0. Oh, it's just 0. Amazing. Yeah, no, there's no charge to come in. That's just not how we operate. If there's, real things that we see that we could do to improve your situation, and there are financial tools that we use or would recommend, we're going to explain how these tools work and how we get paid by using them. But there's no pressure to use us that way. It's just make sure you know how things are set up. Some people come in to get a second opinion because they're realizing that they have a financial advisor and they don't go back to the same advisor to get a second opinion because they're going to get the same first opinion. So sometimes they use us that way just to compare. And there's times I just tell them, you're doing fine. Just relax. Just keep doing what you're doing. You're on the right track. So it doesn't hurt. I just have found through the years, if we take care of people properly, we don't worry about our money, our income. They tell other people how mean and ornery we are. In other words, how we're going to help them. So
you can call the phone number. Are you in your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, your 60s? Are you in your 70s? You can have a conversation. Come on into the offices if you want to. We can do it over the phone or Zoom and find out exactly what are some of the pain points of your plan. Do you know exactly how long your money's going to last? Are you worried about overspending it? Are you worried about factors like inflation and the risk of the markets? Call right now and get started on your own free portfolio review with Dale Soutas here of Soutas Financial. 833-856-1382 is the phone number. You can go to the website if you want to, if you're driving around right now with your hands at 10 and 2. Go to the website and schedule a time when you get home at Soutas.com, Soutas.com. More with Dale Soutas right after this.
You've heard the phrase, you don't know what you don't know, and we believe it's especially true when it comes to retirement planning. There's a lot of information out there, and it can be overwhelming and confusing. So how do you know what you don't know? Social Security, RMDs, estate planning, investment risk. These are just a few of the many areas that a financial advisor can help you navigate. But what else don't you know when it comes to retirement planning? Are you aware of all of the tax implications of your investments? Do you know how to optimize your Social Security benefits? What about your long-term care and estate planning needs? We believe that by working with a retirement planning advisor, you can uncover potential blind spots in your financial plan and gain a better understanding of your options. Don't let unknown factors potentially derail your retirement. Call Dale Soutas of Soutas Financial to uncover what you may not know about your retirement future and start your complimentary written financial plan. 833-856-1382. That's 833-856-1382. Or you can write Dale at dale@soutas.com. That's SOUTAS.com.
Welcome back to Retire Your Way with Dale Soutas of Soutas Financial. Right now, trying to help you with some of those money myths, especially for retirement planning that you may have heard before. What about this one? Maybe you've heard it from a financial representative or somebody who was talking to you in your younger years about investing, but don't worry, folks. The market, it always comes back. Just keep riding it out. How does that make you feel? You've heard that kind of thing before, right?
Yeah, it's like a roller coaster. They always come back to the same spot, right? But yeah, I mean, just ride it out. Well, that's okay if you're young, because over a long period of time, chances are very, very much so you're going to be higher than where you started, okay? Especially if you have your money managed where they're actively, managing it. But typically, when you think about it, you retire, you're not working, you're not able to replace what you lose, and you may be dependent on that money that's in the stock market, on however you have it invested there. So the ups and downs of the market can really take away from your income if that's what you're using to supplement your income. And it's called a sequence of returns. It's a risk, sequence of returns risk, which means it's not rocket science. The market's going up, you need X amount of dollars out of that, on a regular basis. No big deal. You're selling less shares, less of your investment to get those dollars because the investment's going up. But when the market's going down, you have to sell more of your principal or shares or investment to get that same income. And because we don't know where the market's going to be, up or down, and when, that timing can really wipe out, our retirement savings quickly. It actually fails more than 50% of the time when people were relying on that 4% rule. I could take 4% out of my investments and my money should last. So yeah, that's nice. But Texas Tech did a study on it and found it fails more than half the time. So there's a number of reasons why you don't just want to ride it out. You may need some money that can be safe, protected, available, liquid, so you can grab it at a moment's notice to take care of important things, but primarily if you're using that method of riding the market to supplement your income, that might be a dangerous, method to go.
Oh, definitely. I mean, when do you want to find out that you got the math wrong? When it's too late? So riding it out. Now, we're positive about the market as it goes up and down, but moving into your retirement years is something completely different with your portfolio. We're not trying to ride all of the highs. Like you were talking about, exactly. the woman who you were speaking with before, is that, hey, maybe you've already won. Why take too much risk if you don't have to? Maybe we want to lay some of this off on purpose.
Better yet, you're getting closer to retirement. Mm-hmm. Let's say you're within 5 years of retiring. How much risk are you taking now? Especially if we're going to need some of that retirement savings to supplement, retirement spending, income, whatever you want to call it. So I've seen, unfortunately, too many times where I can go way back to when we first set up office on Shaw Avenue in Fresno. Within that first year of 2000, I had a gentleman come in. He already retired, and he was okay, but his wife wanted to retire in the next couple of years. But I recommended, well, let's adjust some things. But no, we're okay. We got to invest in all that. Well, what happened early 2000, the market and things were dropping. So she didn't retire for another 8 or 10 years after that because the market had dropped. They didn't have as much money. So during that retirement red zone, like the baby boomer dilemma calls it, the 5 years before and after retiring, smooth out the ride. You don't want to take as much risk so that that you can retire. So that's, part of the coaching we give free of charge is, let's see where you're at. Are there any adjustments? How many times have I seen people come in? Yeah, I told my advisor I want more conservative, and then they come in with their portfolio and let's say it's a balanced portfolio. Ooh, whoop-de-doo. 60% stock, 40% bond. And what they don't realize is that if we have a major event like we did in, what was it, 08, 09, in that area with the housing crash and other things that happen once in a while, you could lose over 25, 30% of your investment. That's not being real conservative. If people are saying, hey, yeah, I can handle, 10, 5, 10, 15% max, then let's have your portfolio analyzed and see, well, where are you really on the Richter scale, as I call it, on that risk scale,
Whoop-de-doo, you're 60-40. Like that.
Yeah.
That's your technical review of somebody who thinks they're not too overly exposed to risk. Well, I'll take you to the flip side, though, if you don't mind, Dale. Sure, some folks might say, hey, just ride the market out. It comes back. That depends on your timeline. That depends on your age. That depends on, what you're trying to do. If we've got it accumulated, create income, that's one thing. The flip side on this is, what about hearing the phrases from folks, hey, just move your money into bonds when you retire. Look for the stuff with the simple interest, the interest rates, and get yourself paid out nice and simply. Is that reliable today?
Well, obviously, bonds are more of a where you're loaning companies or entities money. It's safer than a stock, right? Because if the company or entity has financial problems, you get paid out before the stockholders do. But it's a lower risk, true, but is it really the best method? And then sometimes people don't realize in retirement they have a lot of muni bonds, so-called tax-free bonds. Yet on your tax return, it still asks for your tax-free interest, and which is kind of strange, because if it's tax-free, why are they asking about it? Very simply because whatever tax-free interest you earn still goes onto the sheet to calculate how much of your Social Security gets moved from not taxed to taxable. So it can affect the taxation of your Social Security. But it might even be overly conservative just to be all in bonds. There's
so that's
reason.
The other side of the pillow. So there's the taking too much risk. Don't worry, it always comes back, and then just move your money over into bonds. That could be too safe, you're saying.
Right. And what kind of bonds? I've got the corporate bonds. Well, those, there's a various level of risk with even bonds. You might have bonds that have as high a risk as having a stock almost. So, what are you trying to accomplish? Bottom line, when we look at people, they're looking at, I want to retire. Okay, great. Well, what do you need to pay the bills? Your paycheck. I preach this all the time, because to maintain your lifestyle while you're working, it's your income. We get jobs so that we can, pay the bills and do the things that we want to do, and hopefully be saving too along the way. But once you stop working, you still need to pay the bills. And especially now that you have more time, certainly you'd hopefully want to do more fun things together, or with the family, or you might have interests, hobbies, whatever, travel. So a paycheck to pay the bills, a paycheck to do the fun things, and eventually a care check to keep you out of a nursing home without buying that long-term care insurance I'm not a big fan of. So once we see the picture of what you want to do, you might have some bonds mixed in. You might have some stocks mixed in. You might have different tools mixed in to make sure your income is solid, predictable, stable, and guaranteed the rest of your lives. So, it just, we look at the long term, not just how are you doing it now. And people get too caught up with, I'm making 10%, I made 20%. Whoop-de-doo, you gotta.
Whoop-de-doo.
Yeah, you gotta, the other technical financial terms my wife always hated when I said was gobs and oodles. But people understand when I say gobs and noodles. But the point being is still, what do you want to do in retirement? You if you're not working, you have all this extra time, your health is great, and you have money galore. What would you be doing or doing more of in retirement? And some people recently, they're happy doing, gardening and sticking around home, taking care of the kids and grandkids, having fun with the family. They don't have any great big retirement trips and plans. They live a simple life, fine. Then I have others who they want to take trips. They want to do all kinds of things, fine. So everybody's plan's going to be different. So what's your plan?
That's exactly what we want to find out for our radio listeners out there. What's your plan? Do you not have one? Let us get it written out for you. You can call right now and get started on your own written financial plan for retirement with your financial advisor here, Dale Soutas of Soutas Financial and Retire Your Way, right now, just by scheduling your appointment. Call the phone number 833-856-1382. Soutas.com is the website where you can schedule your own time. Soutas.com, or again, call that number. Call it right now, folks. 833-856-1382. More Retire Your Way with Dale right after this.
Are you worried that you waited too late to start your retirement planning? That you waited too late to start saving? At Soutas Financial, we believe it's never too late to start planning for your future. We can help you develop a personalized retirement plan that is tailored to your current needs and goals. The team at Soutas Financial will sit down with you and provide an evaluation of your current path, including your investment strategy, tax planning, and risk management approach. We'll help you identify potential areas for improvement and work with you to create a retirement plan that is designed to help you work towards having financial security and peace of mind in retirement. It's not too late for you to get started with Soutas Financial. Call us today to schedule your complimentary retirement planning session. We believe we can help you get on the path to financial security and peace of mind in retirement. Call Dale Soutas and the team at Soutas Financial to get started on your own complimentary written financial plan. Call 833-856-1382. That's 833-856-1382.
Social Security is easy, right? The question is, should I take it sooner or later? Well, there are dozens and dozens of ways to take Social Security if you're single, and even more if you're married. This one-time decision can also affect how much you pay in taxes, how much you receive in lifetime payouts for you and possibly your spouse. You could increase your nest egg by tens of thousands of dollars just by being informed. Unfortunately, the Social Security office is not allowed to give you comprehensive financial planning advice. You've paid into Social Security for decades. Don't you want to make sure you optimize your retirement income? Sure, there are tons of online calculators that will tell you how much you will receive from Social Security. Now, you need to build that into a retirement income plan with all of your assets. Get your own tailored, no-cost Social Security income strategy with the team at Retire Your Way and Soutas Financial. 833-856-1382. That's 833-856-1382. Or you can write Dale Soutas at dale@soutas.com. Soutas.com.
This is Retire Your Way with Dale Soutas of Soutas Financial. What are some of those, money methodologies maybe that are outdated that you've heard before, or phrases or friends and things that have said to you? How about, in your opinion, Dale, as a financial advisor, don't worry, if you got to your 50s or 60s, you got some money saved, you're going to spend less money in retirement. What do you think? People spend less than during their working years?
Well, I don't know. I would say mostly no, and simply because you still have your normal month in, month out expenses. And, whether you have the house paid off or not, you still have to maintain the house. You still have to pay taxes, insurance, car insurance, groceries, gas and electricity, cell phones. You have stuff. So your main bills may not be dropping very much. While you're working, you're using some of your income to save maybe. So even though you had a greater income, the net coming home, because you're putting some into some kind of retirement vehicle, hopefully most of us are learning to use Roth over tax-deferred 401ks, 403bs, and such. Keep Uncle Sam out of that savings for the future. But so when you stop working, you still need income. And unfortunately, for most who are not getting pensions, Social Security may not cut it. So we have to have a system to be able to keep going. I don't want people tightening their belt or changing their lifestyle drastically at all just because they want to retire or are retired. They need to be able to still pay the bills and do the fun things they want to do, pursue hobbies, help family. You have a number of things. I just had a gentleman here recently who saved very well. He's retired. And, reality is maybe he's not having to spend as much right now in retirement, and he's got decent savings, but things like a child's wedding, sometimes it's a grandchild's wedding. It could be things like maintaining or upgrading the home. make it, improve it however you want to do it, renovate things.
Or even for safety for later on.
Exactly. And actually for his spouse, that is a big concern. Fortunately, they do have some safety measures already built into the home from previous years of taking care of a parent who was living with them. But, so there's a variety of things that can happen that make us, we still need a decent income. So I don't usually show people how to drop their income unless they really, have structured things where they're pretty much not doing a whole bunch. But most people want to do things when they retire.
Yeah.
While they can.
Their rocket hobbies, all of that
right.
stuff. We're going to be doing things. You're still going to have health costs. I think a big miscalculation is of the Social Security and Medicare, and that you turn on Social Security, and let's say you're going to get $2,500 a month, but and they figure out their savings and what they're going to spend, and maybe then their spouse is going to get $2,000 a month. They forget that Medicare is taken out of there, and so that's a $200, $400 chunk at minimum today that gets taken out, and it's just assuming you're going to spend less is a little bit risky of a thought.
Yeah, in 2026, right now, the Medicare Part B premium is $203 for all practical purposes.
It's $202.90. I'm going to say because I know that number. It's $202.90.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
that's good. Well, you're in your 80s. You should know it. Yeah, right. Anyway, but now let's say you choose to have a supplement rather than a Medicare Advantage plan. The supplement's allowing you to go, to any doctors, any facilities that work with Medicare, and you could bypass your general doctor, your GP, to go right to a specialist. I mean, there's a lot of freedom with this, with the supplement, and a Plan G. Basically, you have a deductible of less than $300 per year, and then pretty much everything else is zero out of pocket, except maybe prescription copays. So here you have this medical supplement. So starting out, it might be $150, but each year as we get older, those premiums go up. So, you're looking still at, and then you add on a Part D prescription plan, you're still looking at, $300, $350 or more, $400 a month just for each individual to have the health insurance they need long haul. Some of the Advantage plans might have a zero or very low monthly premium, but then you have copays and caps on the medical side per year of anywhere from $1,000 to some upwards of $7,000 a year. So there's trade-offs for those, but all of that can be coached, and we can help you understand the ins and outs of those. We have people who specialize in that to help you get that if you need it. But the point being is your budget. It's still, are you going to be spending less in retirement? What if, like some recently that I'm showing, you can retire sooner than later. One little lady, she'll be able to retire the end of this year. She'll only be 64. So she'll need a year's worth of private health insurance, right? So how are we going to budget that in, which we've already done? It might be her income is, there's a variety of things that may make it to where you spend the same or need similar amount of income as when you're working. Probably for the most part they don't, but you still need to have a system to keep going the way you want to keep going.
Exactly. Yeah. And
how about, the other thing, what else? I know a couple, he's still working. She retired last year, and now it's fun hearing the stories because now she's getting to spend time with her grandsons who are young, I think 6 and 3. And so what's she doing? Well, they are having fun spoiling the grandkids. They're able to buy them some things that, they want to get them. They're planning trips, taking them, take them to, what is it, the train ride in Santa Cruz Hills. What do they call it? I forget what they call that train. But, there's different things that we could do in retirement, different things that we might want to spend money on. So just know that you can just have it planned out. Don't guess. Oh, I hope I can do this. That's no way to retire. I don't want people feeling that way. I don't want you feeling stuck either, that you can't do as much as you would want to do. So we like helping people.
Couple of factors that I do want people to think of, and this isn't to worry them, but if you think you're going to spend less in retirement, don't forget things like health care costs tend to go up. Medicare doesn't cover everything. My father had to do some things recently that Dale knows about. I was very impressed with all the coverage that was taken care of for Medicare. And there wasn't really a lot of out of pocket. But then there are certain areas, I guess, of specialties that aren't covered. So sometimes our healthcare costs go up. Inflation goes up. Think about what you spent on 5 bags of groceries 10 years ago. Think about what they're going to cost 10 years from now. Travel, gifting, and as Dale was already talking about, just your entire lifestyle, whether that's doing trips or taking care of the house, there's costs. So please don't make an assumption that we're going to spend less in our retirement years, especially one big factor of that is how long are we going to live, right? That's one of the bigger factors out there.
Longevity magnifies all the other risks in retirement, from income to taxes to, healthcare, all of those things. So, and so we need your plan needs to have inflation built in to know that, hey, with this goal, having inflation all the way to the wife's age 100, will your money last? Whether you last that long or not, I want to make sure your money will, and you have leftovers. Which basically means you have more flexibility throughout retirement. When I show people that your plan will work and it looks like you're going to have plenty left over, it just means you have more flexibility throughout the retirement years. And what I like to do is play up what you might need to spend and what you might want to spend. I like to, inflate your goals, but I want to deflate what your money might be able to do and still put it to the test. Will it last? And, and most all the time we're able to show people, yes, you'll be okay. Don't worry about it. Focus on more important things. Don't be worried about money.
And we can help you do that as long as you reach out, call the phone number, and schedule your time to come on in and sit down with financial advisor Dale Soutas of Soutas Financial and retire your way. It's real simple. Call this right now. We have live operators who are standing by. They'll schedule a time for you at your convenience. We can do it over the phone. We can do it over Zoom, or you can come on in to the new offices. Just needed a little bit more elbow room for all the teammates that Dale has helping out with all of your retirement plans. 833-856-1382 is that phone number. Again, call this right now, 833-856-1382, and ask for your free portfolio review, whatever is on your mind. Or if you want, you can go to the website. There's some great tools on there. Look at some of those preview of the movies, especially the Baby Boomer Dilemma and why it matters to you, right on the front of his webpage there at Soutas.com, Soutas.com.
Do you know how you'll generate income from your investments along with your Social Security in retirement? In our opinion, it's never too early to start the income planning process for your future. An income plan can help you work towards creating a steady stream of income to support you throughout your retirement years. Don't leave your financial future to chance. Take control today and start income planning for your retirement. Call the team at Soutas Financial so we can help you design a complimentary written income plan to help you live the retirement you've always wanted. Call 833-856-1382. That's 833-856-1382.
This is Retire Your Way with Dale Soutas of Soutas Financial. We've got one of our great individual client prospect kind of questions. These are the kind of scenarios that you handle every single day in the offices. In fact, that's right. We've got the 1970s calling. We've got a question from caller, listener, and actually this one was in person. So let's answer this one. You had a couple, I believe they were 58 and 56. First of all, first thing I want to say right there, perfect. That is a great time to reach out to a financial advisor. Let's see if we're positioning ourselves correctly. So right away, huge thumbs up. Tell us a little bit about them. What was on their mind, Dale?
Well, it was fun because she was very confident they could retire and money's not going to be a problem. But he was very much unsure. He was very skeptical, thinking, well, we might have to work, another 10 years, who knows, 9, 10 years. And she was seeing that, they've got, their income's great right now. I mean, they plenty of income with their 2 careers. One's in medical, one is in the school system. And so they have not only good incomes, one will have, also guaranteed pension. The other has a pension they could take as income or roll it over and have that money available to use in other ways and structure, however they need. So it was fun because I could see on his face that, yeah, sure, I don't think we can. And we're going to have to keep on saving and we got to pay everything off, all the debt before we can retire. And, but I crunched the numbers based on what they really need. And I crunched the numbers based on what they want to do in retirement. And, I automatically know how to calculate for way down the road if they need care. So like we normally do, we build a paycheck to pay the bills with inflation to keep that goal growing through the years to her age 100. We have a paycheck that, for all the fun things I want to do through his age 85, because that's around the average age of somebody needing care. So to keep him out of a nursing home, again, notice I didn't pick on the wife, right? And then, so then the care check kicks in to keep him and then ultimately her out of a nursing home for the rest of, their lives to her age 100. Okay. So not only did I put all the info in on their income and assets, the projected income and pension, Social Security, whatever, I put all their assets in as they have them, invested basically now. And they've done well. They've saved well. They've got kids and any leftovers. Okay, we're going to make sure things are set up properly to go to them. They don't have a trust yet. So, we're coaching them on how to set up their estate plan. So all of this goes into, what we do when we sit a family down. And it was fun because now we've had multiple visits. And again, we don't charge to do that. We could charge to do the plan, but, I've chosen we don't need it. We don't want to. We don't do it. We don't charge to work up your retirement income plan. So ended up, I'm showing them, okay, in 6, 7, 8 years, you could retire. Your money's going to last. And then I asked the fun question. I said, so how soon would you really like to retire?
Yeah. Either one of them say tomorrow.
Well, sometimes I get that, but so again, they're not quite. So I was pushing it out to her age, I think 65, so they could both be on Medicare and have their health insurance, through Medicare and maybe a supplement, right? Instead of having to buy insurance on their own. But then when they said, when he's 62, she'd be 60. Okay. So I plugged that in. I did a separate, I just copied the existing plan and started adjusting it based on those ages and different income amounts and different asset values. And but I beefed up their goals. So even though they said they needed this much to pay the bills, I rounded up generously. Even though they said, well, we want to take, a trip. We want to spend X amount of dollars, having fun, these different categories. And I more than doubled their paycheck. Okay. I kept the care check built in at age 86 and hit the button. It projected out. They're still going to have a few million left over for the kids, several million actually. So I said, yeah, you could easily retire sooner. You don't have to wait. And the real fun of this job of mine is to see people light up when they see, oh, we'll be okay. And to see him finally relax about this idea of retiring, and that he can't, he's seeing, I said, you just digest it, you think about it, but you can retire sooner. And, it's still a few years away. And for those of you out there who are, within 5 years of retiring, don't wait. Get your plan put together. Know how things look. You might have to, make some adjustments to how you have things invested to make sure that money's there down the road. Because even the Baby Boomer Dilemma movie talks about that retirement red zone, the 5 years before and the 5 years after you retire is the time you really don't want to have excessive risk on your investments, because, and I've seen it literally dozens of times over the years where people talk about wanting to retire and they don't change the way they're doing things, and the market takes a big crash, and now one or both are delaying their retirement because their money dropped quite a bit and they don't feel they can, they're going to have enough to keep going. So it's better to have everything reviewed ahead of time. Just do a checkup, so to speak. Just,
if I can go back with an iron over something real quick, little wrinkle you said before, one of them was saying how important it was for them to be debt free. Now that makes sense. That tracks for me. You don't want to go into retirement, I guess, if you don't have continued income for the rest of your life, although both of these have the opportunity for pension plans, or they could take lump sums. What did they mean by being debt free, and why were you saying, you're not sure on that for absolutely certain that they need to be debt free? I mean, that kind of makes sense to me, to be debt free.
Well, they, like many I've talked to, they're paying extra on some of their variety of things that they owe money on, off the top of my head, I don't remember exactly.
I mean, credit cards and all that kind of stuff. Absolutely. What else?
Yeah. I mean, it could be solar, it could be car loans, it could be, credit cards. But so I noticed they're paying extra on one item, and I encourage them to shift that. In fact, they're paying extra on the one item that has the least amount of cost to them. In other words, it has the lowest interest rate. So I said, why not just shift that over to this that has the highest cost to you, highest interest rate? Once that's paid off, roll that plus what you've been paying on it to the next highest interest rate, snowball it down that way. And they saw within probably 2-3 years, all of that would be gone, except for their mortgage. And I said, well, still, your mortgage may not be paid off in 4 years if you retire at 62, but that's okay. I plugged it in how it would last a little longer, where they had to have that extra to not only pay the mortgage, but if they're both not 65, they have to spend money on individual health insurance. And I magnified that above what it would normally cost even in their plan, to show them you're still not going to run out of money. You can do it. You could be retired sooner, get off to goofing off and doing all the fun things you want to do sooner while your health is better, while you're younger, and you can, instead of delaying. So it's a wonderful thing to be able to help people see that. But no, you don't have to be totally debt-free to retire necessarily. So let's put our heads together to see if that's the case or not. Let us calculate it out.
Yeah. Another thing on that is, and this might be a longer conversation. We might have to continue it on next week's program, but two scenarios here. One works in the healthcare industry. One is in the teaching industry, and you can have the opportunity of either getting your pension plan for life and whatever those amounts might be, or taking it as a lump sum. Now, again, right away for our listeners, including myself, you might say, that sounds a little riskier. I mean, with the pension plan, at least I know it'll never run out. But wondering, are there possibly other opportunities where you could also turn it into your own pension-like plan and maybe increase the numbers for yourself? Is that a possibility, Dale?
Well, certainly. In their particular case, ultimately, Social Security and one of the pensions would be more than enough. So how do we have the other pension, instead of taking it as income, roll it over to an individual retirement account, an IRA, and have more control over it, have more liquidity, some more money that you can, take, when and if needed or wanted.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's
The
a
other
great
part
scenario,
would be, and then two, the savings, even along the way. In their particular case, they are still contributing into their 401k, 403b, whatever, their retirement accounts. And it didn't make a lot of sense for them to stop doing that because of the high incomes that they have right now. Once they retire at that younger age, and if I have them delay starting Social Security even to 67, they'll have a number of years that their actual income is a lot lower, and we can do some Roth conversions, and maybe a chunk of money, if we feel we need it for income down the road, can be set up to be tax-free lifetime income instead of tax-deferred. So it's interesting. When I say everybody's different, it's because it's true, and everybody's plan can be different,
and
tailored.
And you know what's
for
fun
them,
for Dale Soutas and the team is that everybody's plan is a little bit like, a puzzle, a game, a game of Monopoly that's fun, where the bank and Boardwalk don't buy up all of the properties here. It's that your game here is that let us put all of these pieces together for you. Your situation is different than everybody else's out there, and now we can tailor a plan, a strategy, a blueprint, however you want to think about it, a foundation for your retirement. Call the phone number so we can help you through that. It's called your free portfolio review and your written financial plan, and Dale will get started with you, literally no cost to you. 833-856-1382 is the phone number to call. Set up your appointment. That's going to be all the time that we have today. For Dale Soutas, I'm Spike. Thank you for listening. And if you want, as we're ending here, you can also go to his website and schedule your own time there anytime you want to at Soutas.com, Soutas.com. Thanks for listening.
This is not endorsed or affiliated with any federal Medicare program, nor any U.S. government agency. If applicable, we do not offer every plan available in your area, and contacting us will direct you to a licensed insurance agent. Any information we provide is limited to those plans we do offer in your area. Please contact Medicare.gov or 1-800-MEDICARE to get information on all of your options. This is not endorsed or affiliated with the Social Security Administration or any U.S. government agency. Any comments regarding safe and secure investments and/or guaranteed income streams refer only to fixed insurance products overseen by state insurance regulators and not any investment advisory products. Rates and guarantees provided by insurance products and annuities are subject to the financial strength of the issuing insurance company, not guaranteed by any bank or the FDIC.
Investment advisory services are offered through Foundations Investment Advisors, LLC, Foundations, an SEC registered investment advisor. The content provided is intended for informational and educational purposes only. The views, statements, and opinions expressed herein are those of the individual speakers and not necessarily those of Foundations and its affiliates. The information contained herein does not constitute an offer to sell any securities or represent an express or implied opinion or endorsement of any specific investment opportunity, offering, or issuer. Any discussion of performance or returns is not indicative of future results. Any discussions of specific strategies are for informational purposes only and have been provided to help determine whether they may be appropriate for your specific situation. If applicable, the primary goal is converting retirement assets into a Roth IRA is to reduce the future tax liability on the distributions you take in retirement or on the distributions of your beneficiaries. Each individual investor's situation is different, and any ideas provided may not be appropriate for your particular circumstances. Comments regarding a particular client's experience may or may not be the same as another client's experience and is not an indication that any client or prospective client will experience the same or a higher level of future success or performance. Foundations only transacts business in those jurisdictions where it's properly registered or is excluded or exempted from registration requirements. Registration as an investment advisor is not an endorsement of the firm by securities regulators and does not mean the advisor has achieved a specific level of skill or ability. Nothing herein constitutes a recommendation that any security, portfolio, or securities or investment strategy is suitable for any specific person. No legal or tax advice is provided. Please review your retirement, tax, and estate legacy planning strategies with a legal tax professional before transacting or implementing any strategies discussed herein. Any comments regarding safe and secure investments and guaranteed income streams refer refer only to fixed insurance products. They do not in any way refer to investment advisory products. Rates and guarantees provided by insurance products and annuities are subject to the financial strength of the issuing insurance company, not guaranteed by any bank or the FDIC. This is not endorsed or affiliated with the Social Security Administration, any federal Medicare program, nor any U.S. government agency. If applicable, we do not offer every plan available in your area, and contacting us at the phone numbers provided herein will direct you to a licensed insurance agent. Any information we provide is limited to those plans we do offer in your area. Please contact Medicare.gov or 1-800-MEDICARE to get information on all your options. All rights reserved.